in the city of angels. The white with Mike till the torch was gray. Jets from Father, spiritual and bright, guiding the vibes, bring wisdom to the night. Telling a story where hearts connect, from LA to Florida with love and respect. Telling a story with soul to soul, do I and Jess, yeah, making a song.
Hello, hello, hello. Oh my God. They love
No,
us. They came back.
we didn't scare them away with all the sage cleansing and all of the energy that's happening. So that's a good first, intro there.
Yes, yes.
Mm-hmm.
Welcome to Tell 'em a Story.
Tell the
As we
story.
always kick it off, Jessica is saging the space.
Mhm.
I still don't have sage this week, guys.
My sage is dwindling, so that already tells me that I'm gonna have to re-up for next episode because it's on its last leg. It's been used.
It's on its last sage.
It's on its last stage. Yeah, there we go. Reiki infused.
But yeah,
Reiki infused.
but
Sponsored
welcome
by Sage.
back. Yes, welcome by Sage. What am I saying? Oh my God, I can't talk today.
Words.
But no,
words.
sponsored by Sage. But no, everyone, welcome back to the show. Thank you so much for being here. This is Tell 'em a Story. Today we have a very, very special treat in line for you. Tell 'em a story behind the hustle. Can't wait to dive into that. But first, Jess, how was your week? What's going on? What's new in your world?
Everything is going really well. I'm actually really excited for this particular topic because I will just say that this year in general, I feel like I've learned so much of what it really requires to be an entrepreneur and what that hustle looks like that we don't show to others. So I'm
Yeah,
really
people
excited.
People
Mhm.
make it seem glamorous, but it's
Yeah, and it's not.
surprise the most. Yeah.
No, and so I think that this is going to be a really insightful and revealing episode for anybody out there that is becoming their own workshop in whatever area of their life.
I love that. I love that you said that. Become your own workshop, whatever that is in
Mhm.
your life.
Mhm.
But yeah, so you need to get more sage. You also, guys, I don't know if you know this about Jess, but she has a crystal shop.
Yes, yes.
Yes.
Actually, thank you for mentioning that. I love crystals and they've been such a potent part of my life. And I'm excited though for this episode to also share with you because you're an author. You're so many things and you constantly are hustling so many different avenues. And you do it so well. There's not like one where I'm like, wow, Dwight really exceeds in this area. You exceed at all of them. So I really am excited to hear your secrets, but also to hear perhaps some of your struggles as well.
Yeah, we're definitely going to talk about my secrets and also talk about my struggles.
Hmm.
One struggle that I'm having today is so I become completely addicted to Factor meals. Have you heard of Factor meals before?
I've not. No.
So basically, Factor is like a meal prep service. Like,
That's what I
and
figured. I was like,
yeah,
oh,
the
that was something
meals are
simple. Yeah.
like on average, you spend maybe like $6 or $7, a week. Not week, no, per meal, not a week, per meal.
I was like, what? I was like $6 or $7. I was like,
Like,
wait, why haven't I heard of this? Let me get onto this now.
so like I've gotten on Factor, like one of my friends got me like hooked, and now I have way too many Factors in my freezer because what's happening
Shut
is
up. No, wait.
I'm not
pause.
eating them, but they're like on auto delivery.
Are they good? Are
They're
they good?
amazing. It's just that I'm tired of eating Factor meals. They're actually really good, and they do try to like mix it up, but it also gives me like very much. So I know growing up, like with my mom, like because my mom used to work like 3 to 11 p.m. sometimes.
Mm.
So I would get home from school. This when I was in high school, not like
Mhm.
tight and caught. And like I would have to figure out meals. And like sometimes I got really creative and like just made some shit up. Factor does that. Like I feel like some of the meals, like it's like random things put together, but they actually taste really good. Like
I'm
it's
all
like
about
gourmet.
that. I'm all about that. I feel like that's like I love because I get lazy. So for me, like I'm like, what do I have in my fridge that I can create? Yeah.
Yeah, I get super lazy with it
Mhm.
too. And what I do like about it is like instead of putting them in the microwave, I throw them like in the oven. And I throw them in the oven
You
because
really you go in. You go in.
I go in because it makes me feel like I did something. So like I'll
You
like
cooked
put
it.
it in the oven. I'll
Mhm.
hop on a conference call, 15 minutes into the call, I'll cam down and mute myself. And then I'll go pull it out, sit it on the stove, finish my call. Afterwards, I open the meal up, I transfer it onto a plate, I get out a Tiffany's wine glass, I pour myself a glass of wine, and then I go and I eat my factor meal. But I haven't eaten them probably since June, and now my freezer, like, there's no space. So I have to put my and I keep forgetting to put it on pause. And like they give you a discount code. I have to send you a code. So I'll send you a code and you get like a free
So then
box.
I
And
can
you
have
get
my freezer full of
well, that's the
factory.
thing. You get your free
Yeah.
box, and then I get a free box. So I've given out the code to all these people. So now I'm getting these random free boxes for Thanksgiving dinner. I'm just gonna roll them all out, invite people over, and we all get a chance to pick a meal.
I was gonna say, I was like, there's so much you could do with this. First off, then now I'm gonna know that during the breaks, what you're really doing is just heating up a factory meal. So that's what is happening. I know now
Yep.
your secret of behind the hustle, that's what's happening is actually factory meals is sponsoring your behind the hustle. So that's great.
Factor,
Um,
you should totally sponsor our show.
so that it already is because it's behind the hustle. So now we know one of your secrets of
Yes,
what is behind the hustle factor. Yeah, yeah,
that was one of my.
yeah.
I mean, I will say they have made it very very easy for entrepreneurs to make
I
sure we're eating.
can't.
Like no, they made sure that we're having a healthy, balanced meal, and we're not, wasting a lot of time. But guess how else they get you with your first box? Inside the box, Jess, they send you a free coupon for a 12 case of wine. All you pay
No
for is the shipping.
way. What?
So that's how I'm able to have my glass of wine. Yeah, I got a coupon to actually get a 12 case of wine, and then that I didn't put on auto delivery. I read the fine print, and I still have the wine because I drink, but I don't drink that much. I'm not gonna go through 12
Right.
bottles of wine like this quickly.
Right.
But
Right.
yeah,
Right. Well, I just have to say that this is so perfect and relevant for this particular episode because that is so like that's like a hustle right there of what they have going on. But they're also
oh,
connected to wine. I mean, like, yeah,
it's such a hustle. It's like such a really great hustle, but it makes sure that you're balanced. Like, what do you like? Honestly, like, are you one of
mhm.
those people that can go the full day and not even realize you didn't eat anything?
No, I actually am gonna be completely transparent. I want to be. I'd love to be like, yeah, oh my God, I'm working so hard that I forgot to eat. No, 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 no. I actually really like, usually for me, like lunch is a big deal. Like the rest of the meals, like, I'm like, I love breakfast food, but like not, like, I'm not like, I do get up really hungry. So I like to eat earlier in the day and then the rest of the day is not as important. But I will say that when I'm doing energy work, I try not to eat because sometimes certain things can kind of affect my stomach. And so I just, kind of hustle through that, if you will. But I'd love to be one of those people that are like, oh my God, I'm working so much that I forgot to eat. But that's not part of my journey. That's not part of my story.
Oh my gosh, that's
Hmm.
not your story. Well, that's my
No.
story. Like, I honestly, I forget to eat, but I recently, oh my God, I'm going to talk about this on the show. I've never talked about
Okay.
this person
Okay.
publicly. So I recently met a guy. Um,
Okay.
embryonic stages. We have not met in person, but
Okay.
I met him like on an app while at the airport when I was traveling back from New Jersey
Okay.
to LA,
Okay.
and we just have been chatting back and forth. And he works in beauty actually, and then I work in beauty. Speaking of hustles, and recently he messaged me and was like, "Can I get your address?" And I was like, "For what?" And he was like, just can I get your
To send
address?
you a factory meal.
And I'm like, sir, you could be crazy. And then finally he was like, have you eaten today? And I'm like,
No, I
oh.
have them in the freezer. You're like, I have my
I was like, not yet. So he had me go on Uber Eats and he had me select what I wanted to eat and he had it sent to my house.
Okay, wait. I love this and I'm so here for this, especially like, with all of your Libra now rising energy that I'm like knowing about, but this is the modern day world of what we're doing, of what we are finding romantic is having people eat us meals. And then like also like just like what is going on with like your hustle that you're forgetting to eat, that you're having this person that you are like
I
meeting
haven't
in
even
the
met in person
airport
yet,
reminding
but he
that's
is a real
reminding you.
person. He
Reminding
is a
you.
real person. We
Like this is a
FaceTime.
person reminding you to eat. Not yourself, but this person. I love this. Okay. This
But it
is
was
so
really,
romantic.
it was such a
It's really cute.
romantic, sweet,
It's
sweet
really cute.
gesture. And guess what zodiac sign he is?
What?
A Capricorn.
Of course. I you know what's really interesting is your Venus is where you have your like that's like your love language, and my Venus is in Capricorn. That's why I love all my caps because
Mm.
they know how to love you. Because it's like that's like wherever you have your Venus placement. Yeah.
I
Can
keep
we
forgetting what my Venus placement is, which means it's a sign I don't really like because I've looked so many times I always forget. And I feel like
mm,
I forget because it's probably a sign that, and it's
mm,
funny because I remember last episode you were like signs that we don't like is things that
yeah.
we're probably growing through. So yeah,
Yeah.
I need to
Yeah.
figure out my Venus is so that we can
Yeah.
dive
Yeah,
into that.
you well, we'll totally yeah, we'll have to dive in that. And can we also just talk about the fact that we did not plan this, but we're both wearing pink?
I know. It's well, I mean on Wednesdays you wear pink, right? It's a Wednesday. It's a new episode. Pretty in pink.
But like literally I was like going I'm like no, I'm wearing pink. I'm going to go with pink. That's the vibe. And then you came on wearing pink and I'm like how is this happening right now that of course, this
Yes,
is
of course.
behind the
What does your
hustle.
shirt say? I am love.
I am love. It's actually a friend of mine who designs these shirts. Her name is Jasmine, and there are for different chakras. And so in the Tibetan culture, actually the heart chakra is in certain ones, it's not just green, it's also represented by pink and black. So
I
it's like a
love
watermelon,
that.
like a
And
watermelon of
mine
love.
is Beverly Hills because I live in LA now. So
You're
my Beverly Hills
so LA.
inspired. Yeah, I have my pearl necklace on, my pink blazer, my pink
I love it.
hat. I'm ready to
You're
go
in it.
to Rodeo Drive and walk into a store and look at the person working there and say these words: big mistake. Big mistake. Big mistake.
I want to do that one day. I really do. That would be so great. Like,
I
I mean,
want
I
to
don't
do
want that
that.
experience.
I want to do that. And what else I want to do is the next time like a stranger sits next to me, I just want to look straight ahead and say, "You got the money? Did you bring the money?"
My response to that would be like, no, I thought you were bringing it. Yeah, yeah. No,
Yeah.
this is an exciting topic because I feel like there's a lot of hustling, there's a lot of different things that are going on, and
I
I think
mean,
it's
pretty
important.
Julius Roberts, like her character definitely was a hustler.
A
But
hustler,
But do you
yeah.
know what I saw recently? Like, and I forgot now. I don't remember the dollar amount, but like he actually gypped her, like with the amount of money he paid her.
What?
Like, yeah, so like he had her for a week, and if you calculate the amount of money that he paid her for the week,
Oh,
technically it was
I'm
like
not good at math.
$20. But I forgot what the amount was. But I saw like this post on social that was like
Stop.
becoming an adult
Stop.
is realizing that Vivian would have made more money if she had went home versus spending the week with him. Because by spending the week with him, her hourly rate got deducted down to like $20 an hour.
That is so not okay, but hilarious at the same time. Like in the sense of like I feel like that's happened. Like that's my story. Like that's happened so much where I'm like, yeah, like you think it's like this big, and then you realize later, oh my God, if I actually break this down, I've lost money and I'm
Yeah.
actually diminishing my value.
Yes,
Great.
she totally diminished her
Wow.
value by staying with him. So
Wow.
he every right deserved to have given her money to go shopping and to do everything else because she gave him a hell of a discount.
So what we're saying is that Pretty Woman is like basically like now it's like shattered for me. Now it's
It's
really
so
shattered.
shattered. It's so shattered. Talk about behind the hustle. He screwed her hustle. He
He's
was
like,
like,
"Wait, wait, wait. Oh, she right. Like, oh, you think you're gonna hustle me? Wait, wait, wait. No, hold on. I'm actually
I'm
gonna
gonna,
hustle you."
I'm gonna hustle you. Like, poor Vivian. Justice for Vivian.
Justice for Vivian. That's gonna be on our shirts that we're gonna wear next.
Justice
Justice
for
for Vivian.
Vivian.
And nobody will know because first off, like I'm like, I love whoever did that math. Kudos to them. Because
Yeah,
there would
during
be
the
no way that
commercial break, I'm gonna do the math, and so when we come back, I'm gonna have the number because I was so highly upset for her. Like, how dare you, sir, take advantage of a working woman? He has
And
some nerve.
also had like a lot of like rules too. Rules and
Yeah,
regulations around
it
it
was so
too.
many rules, and he was a really tight ass in the beginning. He wasn't. He was a dick.
Yeah,
He
let's
was an
just call it.
asshole, a charming asshole, but he was an asshole.
That's
Okay, okay. Are you missing the wit and charm of Sex and the City? Well, get ready for a fresh twist with Just 1 Minute, the micro series on TikTok that's serving up all the drama, love, and laughs you crave. Join me, Dwight Allen O'Neill, as I navigate life, love, and everything in between, 1 minute at a time. It's just like Sex and the City, but quicker, edgier, and made for TikTok. Follow O'Neill Appeal and indulge in the new series everyone's talking about, Just 1 Minute, because who says you need an hour to tell a great story? Oh, okay, I got it.
okay.
All right, everybody. So we are back. Woo! Okay, so I did the math for you guys. And first off, can we get HR on the phone? Because Vivian was totally ripped off back in the day.
I cannot look at this movie, Pretty Woman, ever the same. I cannot.
So Vivian's price
Okay.
was $100 an hour.
Okay.
Okay. But what she ended up getting from him after he agreed to keep her for the week was $300 a night, or $300 a day is what she ended up charging him. All right.
Right.
So she went from spending the night with him, where they spent maybe 6 hours together, which was like $600, to agreeing to spend 24 hours with this man a day for literally $300. Okay. So if we calculate how much money she could have earned, she should have been making $2,400 a day times 7. That's $16,800 is what she should have been getting. However, all he gave her was $2,100 for a week.
Was it 2,100? I didn't. For some reason, I thought it was even lower than that. I thought it was 1,000.
He gave her $2,100.
Wow.
To spend the week with him. Because she's like, how much would it cost? She's like 200. She said
And
$200.
this is where I've totally effed up in life, because I have never paid attention and never enjoyed math. And now I realize that if I had, I probably could negotiate terms very differently in my life.
Like, how could he do this to her? So I need everyone to stand together, and we're going to send out a petition. So email us your emails so that we can send out the petition, so we can get justice for Vivian.
Justice for Vivian.
Fair. And I think this is the perfect topic for this episode. But before we go there, guys, we have to play our game.
Yes. Oh gosh. Okay. AKA. Here we go. Thinking on the spot. Okay. Great. Awesome. So excited. This is my favorite part.
Name that story. You got it right last week, Jess.
Yeah, that's because it had Leonardo DiCaprio involved.
Name that story. Okay. So if this is your first time listening to the show, name that story is I'm going to drop some clues and hints about a particular story. Not always a book, not always a novel. It could just be a story. All right. And Jess will have to guess what the story is. All right.
Wonderful. Yep,
we need
excited.
suspenseful music.
I know. We really do.
All right. So hint number 1. This story involves royalty.
Okay.
All
right.
This royalty was cursed at birth by a vengeful fairy. All right.
Okay.
Hint number 2. The curse causes the young lady to go into a coma.
or does it cause it to become Pretty Woman?
It caused her to go into a coma when she pricked her finger on a needle. Hint number 3. She's hidden away in a forest by 3 fairies.
Can I join her? That sounds like a story I
who hope to protect her from this curse. Okay.
Can I just join this woman? That's like where I want to live. Can I hide away and be with some fairies?
Hint number 4. Okay.
Yeah.
The sexy prince was guided to her by a magical song in the forest.
Even
the
better.
song was "Pretty Woman Walking down the streets, Pretty Woman." Pretty woman.
I can't.
Okay, hint number 5. The story has a famous scene where a kiss breaks the spell and he wakes up the sleeping princess. What is this story? Name it.
Thank you so much for keeping this like totally up my alley of what stories I want to live in. Besides Leo, Sleeping Beauty.
Sleeping Beauty.
Woo!
Wow!
Oh my
You're better at this
gosh.
game than you even realize.
Well, oh god, wait till it gets harder. It's gonna be great. It's gonna be great. As long as we keep it to Disney references and
It's
Leonardo DiCaprio,
it's
I
the
might be
suspense
okay.
in your face for me. You're like, oh God. It's like
I
the
know.
anxiety of us starting.
Tell them the story about
Tell them
this.
the story. Hey, Jess, tell them the story.
No, but I kick this off by asking you a question?
Sure.
So I will say this, I really have respected and I have learned so much from your hustle. I just want to like give a little bit of context to this,
Oh,
that Dwight actually was my boss, my manager, and then we became friends and we became, where we are now. But that's really our story of where we started, was you being my manager and having, um and so you really taught me so much about how to be successful in the beauty industry and how to be successful at my job, but really how to hustle. Because one thing that you said to me that always stuck with me, it's like it's a popularity contest, right? It's like about also being liked and received. And it's not to say that that always is applicable to every circumstance or that's always like healthy, but it really kind of gave me that approach of like how to hustle in really unique ways that I think some people might say that's manipulative, but it's not. It's really like being
so the one thing you
adaptable.
got from me is be popular. Is that why we're wearing pink?
No,
What in
but
the Regina George?
no, but I really and so like then like seeing the evolution of you becoming my friend, but you've always had this ability to just make things happen. Like you really are. And it's funny because I was just looking up, I wanted to during the break, what is the definition of hustle? Just curious. And it says, and it sounds pretty aggressive, but I'm gonna kind of ask you a question like in a way to kind of shift this to a more inspiring experience and engagement, which is the definition is though to force someone to move hurriedly or in a specific direction. And so I really am so curious, what has been for you the driving force to keep your hustle going, because it doesn't stop. And I think that it's quite impressive, because I don't feel like you can teach somebody ambition necessarily, but you've done a really good job of teaching, I think, me, myself and others. And like, what is the force for you?
So the first thing I'm gonna say is, and it's a total cop out for most probably, like since last week we talked about I am a Capricorn. Capricorns are driven by, they're very ambitious.
Mm-hmm.
They're driven by money.
Mm-hmm.
Like these are things that are going to drive us. And not to say that I'm not driven by money necessarily, but I am driven by value. And I want to ensure
That's
that
good.
I have value and that I'm able to add value to those I love, that I'm able to add value to people around me, that I'm able to add value to any situation that I'm a part of. And I have a client that said to me recently, and it stuck with me. She said she was always raised that any space that you walk into, you leave it better than you came.
I
And
love that.
I think that is so powerful. And I just want to ensure that any space that I go into, I add value to it. And I've applied that to my work. So, one thing about me, if you hire me to do something, like I'm going to go above and beyond. Like, I always feel that you should put everything into it. And if I can't put everything into it, then I don't need to be doing it. And also, if I'm not passionate about something, I'm not going to do it. What I thought you
Mm.
were going to say that I inspired you with was, if you ever feel like that you show up somewhere and you can't represent the brand you're with or yourself in a positive way,
You
then
did
you
teach
don't
me
need to
that.
be there. And to this day, that has been something that I have remembered and I continue to apply to my life. If I ever show up and
Mm.
I can't give 100% and I can't represent the brand I'm a part of or myself to my best ability, then I need to be out of that situation. And I've applied that to so many areas of my life, that if
Mm.
Dwight can't show up, Dwight don't need to be there. So yeah.
Well, that is such an amazing point, because you're speaking to actually like First off, so I think it's really great for any listeners out there to know that like something that can help to keep you in that driving force is to really understand what your values are. And another thing that you're really talking about here into the second point is like valuing yourself, because I think that we can lose that in the hustle. And I think that like having boundaries is really important with knowing what we do bring to the table and knowing that it's okay for us to step away. And I think that when we talk about hustle, looking at this as a different definition of that force. Like it should be a driving force that inspires us versus a driving force that we feel like we have to do or should do.
Yeah, yeah. It's about being inspired. And something that I've learned from you is stay inspired. And the things that are going to continue to inspire you on your journey. Also, I don't think you necessarily can teach ambition, but you can be inspired by others' ambition. And one thing I would say about both of my parents, I came from a family that both parents worked very, very, very hard. So I saw a very early example of hardworking parents, which really trickled down to myself and my siblings. Like we all work very, very hard. And it was just up until recently this year that I realized like I'm never off. And even when I consider myself being off, people around me don't think I'm off. And
Mhm.
what I mean by that is, so I had the opportunity to allow my mom to be a model with one of my clients. So shouts out to Parfait. It's a luxury wig company that we work with. And they just recently launched in Ulta, and I had the
Mm.
chance to allow my mom to be a model for the educational videos, which was so cool. So my mom got a chance to come to LA, and she
Oh
saw me
my
like
gosh.
at work on set.
I love that.
And it dawned on me, like she was blown away with like seeing me like basically being this creative director and putting these things together. And I was like, yeah, you finally see me at work. And my mom was like, I always see you at work though. And I'm like, Mommy, you've never seen me at work. She's like, whenever you come home and you're like on your computer and on calls and stuff, like you're working. And I'm like, well, that's not really work. I'm like, I'm actually off then, but I'll take a call. And I'm like, oh my God, like I really need to work on really turning myself off from things so that people around me can really honestly get my undivided attention. Because for me, I just want to be in the space with people I love. Like, I don't have to engage with them, but just knowing they're there. Like, I'm probably the worst boyfriend or under the sun. Like, I'm the type of boyfriend that I literally can just have you sitting on the couch next to me while you watch TV and I'm checking emails and I'm completely satisfied and I'm
Mhm.
getting all the love that I want because we're just
Yep.
sharing the same air. But
Yep.
can you believe there are people that actually want you to actually like interact with them out there?
I know those people annoy me. I know.
Those people exist. I didn't know they existed, but they
I know.
do.
I know. I know. It's really annoying. It's really no, I can totally because you're speaking my language of like
Yeah,
love and like like that's exact. I'm like, but I'm here. I'm present. I'm right here. Like me being next to you and existing, like that's that feels like enough. Yeah.
yeah, it does. It definitely feels like enough, but for some people, it's not. And I think as my mother's gotten older, and she doesn't say anything, but like, because I know she knows that she worked a lot with me growing up, but like, I've learned that me turning my phone off and actually like sitting and watching a movie with my mom means a lot. Whereas I was
Mm,
thinking me just being there while she watches television and I'm on my phone was enough. And it's not always enough for everyone. Even prime example, my nephew a couple weeks ago, he wanted me to play hide and seek with him, and which I did. But I was like, right after I finished this email, and every 5 minutes it was, "Is the email done yet? No, it's not done yet. Uncle Daddy, is the email done yet? No, it's not done yet. Oh God, I don't ever want a job." I'm like, what do you mean I want a job? Cause you can't play. You've been sending that same email for like 10 minutes. And
you're
I want
like
to play hide and seek,
teaching your nephew great work ethic. You're like of like what oh I don't want to be a part of the work,
Yeah.
the working.
Oh
Yeah.
no, he
Yeah.
literally said he doesn't want a job. Like
Yeah.
he said,
Yeah.
thank God everyone around me is rich because he thinks we're all rich. He's like, because I don't ever want to work.
That's amazing. That's amazing. I mean, I feel like that is though so important, and I feel like this is a great space as we I know come up to a break here is because I think that there's so much. to hustling. And I feel like what's really interesting, and I don't know if you can relate to this, but I think a lot of the times, even for me in relationships and in general, people are usually attracted to that ambitious energy and spirit. And then that ends up being part of the downfall for me,
Yes, a lot of
especially when
people are
Mhm.
attracted to that ambition we have, and once they start dating us, that's the thing that they can't take.
They
And
can't
you
take
know
it.
what's crazy? And then I promise we can go to break after this. And I was gonna bring this quote up last week's episode, but it didn't fit. But I had the opportunity to meet Jennifer Lewis a few years ago. Incredible, amazing actress. Um, she's the mother of Black Hollywood, she calls herself, or no, she's been
Aw.
labeled that, like officially. And so I actually had a chance to go to her star dedication. And I'll never forget at the end, I was trying to meet her, but the line was so long and, I had to go somewhere else. And long story short, I said to myself, I declared, I'm going to meet her when it's the right time to meet her. Little did I know we were staying in the same hotel. So I met her later that day.
Wow.
She was actually downstairs at the bar talking to people, and I'm like, Dwight, here's your chance. So I go up to her, and I don't know why I felt the need to talk to her about my love life of all things, but
Love this.
she asked me why I was in like LA, and I told her why, and I somehow it came up that I was dealing with the fact of, because she asked me was I here with anyone. I was like, no, girl. I'm like, my heart's broken. She goes, well, what happened? And I was
Aw.
like, well, it's this guy, whatever. And I said basically, I think I kind of scared him off. And she's like, let me stop you. She said, honey, I don't know anything about you. She said, but I know a star when I see one. She said, you're a star. I'm a star. And the thing about stars is people are so fascinated with us. They love us. They're in awe of us. And when they get close to us, sometimes we burn them,
Mm.
or sometimes they try to dim our lights.
Mm.
Bitch, get you an astronaut. And she walked away.
That I needed to process that because that's the, mic drop, which I can't drop it because then I won't know how to set it back up, but
Right.
that's the mic drop moment right there.
Yep.
Wow,
And we'll be back
and
after
we'll be
this.
back. Wow. Looking to add a splash of coastal flair to your space? Dive into the enchanting world of Just Seashells. From stunning centerpieces to charming accents, every piece is handcrafted with ethically sourced seashells that bring the ocean's magic right into your home. These aren't just decorations, they are stories of the sea, transformed and handpicked into art that is as unique as a seashell itself. Perfect for anyone who loves the beach and wants to keep a piece of it close every day. Ready to make waves with your decor? Visit justseashells.etsy.com and find the perfect ocean-inspired piece to brighten your home.
Alrighty. And we're back.
Woo!
Woo! Wow, that was getting really deep there. But no, that's powerful. Like if you really think about what she said,
It's
like
true.
can you think of times that you have been involved with someone and the
Every
thing
time.
that
Yeah.
attracted them, they attracted the fact that you're a star, you are, and you're a powerful being. And unfortunately, oftentimes when we attract people that want to dim our light because we're too much, our
Yep.
hustle is too much,
Yep.
or we burn them unintentionally.
I've also been in the situation too where people then want to just be just jump on my light and insert themselves in it where then it feels
Mm,
pressuresome to take it on. I don't know if anybody's been in that situation, but I
been
have,
there.
where it's like, whoa, and it's like, and then it feels like it really messes up my creative process and flow because I feel like then this obligation and responsibility and also this timeline that one thing I've realized behind the hustle is that you can't force and rush creativity. You just can't. If I'm not feeling creative, I can't. So when I'm in those situations and somebody's trying to force or insert themselves into my hustle in that way, it really, really messes up my flow. It's one thing when you're collaborating and you're connecting, and it's another thing when it becomes like a burden and when it
Yeah,
feels like an obligation.
yeah. No, it's so true. It's
Yeah.
so true. But going deeper into hustles, I think something that we talked about earlier, I think we talked about this earlier, but oftentimes people glamorize being an entrepreneur and they talk about the highs.
Yes,
They talk
let's
about
talk about
the
that
freedom of
because
not having a
mhm.
boss and the freedom of, you know, be able to make your own schedule
I'd
and
like to
you know,
fire my boss, which is myself. Yeah.
I mean, but honestly, at times I feel like I have 12 bosses because
Right.
every client becomes your boss. And I find myself having this
I thought you
challenging
were gonna say every personality. Every thought within your head.
that too. But you find yourself having fierce conversations reminding people that, you know, you're my client. I don't work for you necessarily.
I
And
work with
then,
you.
yeah, and then oftentimes you're fighting for pay, or, you know, people are late with payments,
Mhm,
or like, true story, TMI, but I'm going to tell it. I had a
mhm.
client earlier this year that literally owes my company over $40,000. And our company has now
Unacceptable.
grown to a space where we have about 6.5 people that work corporate. We have 30 people that work in the field, and I have to pay people every 2 weeks. I have to pay 36 people, 36.5 people every 2 weeks, not counting myself and my business partner.
Wow.
So this person not paying me really messed up our cash flow. So who was responsible for paying them? Guess who was? Me, not
Mhm,
Beyonce, although I think I'm her some days. Me and my business partner responsible. And it took a huge toll
mhm.
on me, obviously financially, emotionally, physically, and then adding in losing one of my best friends when all this was happening. It was just so much that happened
Mm,
all at one time.
mm,
And as I try not to get emotional, but recently I had this aha moment.
mm.
So I don't know everyone's religious belief out there, but sometimes I really do believe that Morgan Freeman really is God and he's just walking around Earth. He just plays him so well. But he just does. He just plays him so
You
well.
know what? I totally agree with this 100%. You're so right. You're so right. Yeah.
Yeah, but there's a clip, and I can't even say what movie it was because he's plays God so many
So
times.
many
He's
times.
always playing God, you know.
Right, right.
But in the film,
Just a
th-
different version.
this
It's like
lady was
whatever
crying,
version.
and I think it was the mom from Gilmore Girls was like crying, and he's like, you know, if you're praying to God about patience, God is going to put you in a situation that requires you to be patient. FYI, I've never prayed about patience, so God, stop sending me that one, okay? In my life, I've never ever asked for freaking patience, okay? But it said if you ask, like, I want my family to get closer, something may happen that's going to cause your family to get
Mm,
closer. One thing I have said I wanted to do, and I had to take ownership when I saw this clip, is I want to be a better leader.
mm,
I've had to lead like crazy this year. I've had to insert myself into areas of my business that I had run from, that I pushed off on my business partner to manage, that I pushed off on HR to deal with, because I didn't want to do those things. It was like, not that I just want to do the fun stuff, but that area of the business just is something I've never been passionate about. And if I want to be a leader, I need to be passionate. Well, I need to understand and be a part of every aspect of it. And I'm like, oh
yep.
shit, I'm being challenged on freaking leadership. Why did I say that prayer? Or
Yeah,
why did I declare
no.
that?
No, it's so interesting because when I was going through my divorce, I will say this. I when I was going through my divorce, which that will be a different topic, but just to go into this, I was so scared because my ex-husband was so inserted in my business that took over all of the accounting, all the finances, all of the math behind the crystals. That's why I joke with like Pretty Woman, but literally that would like so
Oh,
that when yeah, but, like, so when I was then responsible for all those things, I remember having a breakdown, and I remember going to another, female entrepreneur who's one of my best friends and that I work with, and having just, like, an honest discussion, right? Which is so, I think, important behind the hustles to have other entrepreneurs that you can be real with that actually can give you good insight, and she said to me, she goes, "You as much as this is hard right now and as much as this is, like, overwhelming and frightening and scary, because I was just, like, crying, I'm like, "I can't do this," and I had trained and programmed my brain that I wasn't going to be able to do this and I wasn't capable to doing it. she said to me that part of her success was that she literally knew how to do everything in her business and run it. And she said, when you can actually do that, then you are like unstoppable and you're powerful. And it's not to say that you're going to do that. And it's important to, understand your skill sets of where you do excel and where you don't. But if you can really get to that place where you know that you can understand it, she said your business will operate and thrive way better and way differently. And I actually do
And I
believe
agree with that. 1,000,
100%.
1,000,
And
1,000,
and
1,000,
and
1,000.
it's not been easy, and I remember sitting there literally crystal shopping for the first time, because I do these crystal live sales. I'm not trying to plug, but I do these crystal live sales, and
I mean,
I
if
share
you're
my
not gonna
shopping
plug on your
online.
own show, where the hell are you gonna plug?
Right. I know, exactly. Right.
Literally,
Right,
it's your
right.
show.
But no, but so, and so
Speaking of
I
plugging, go buy a shirt, www.o'neillappeal.com.
yes! I
Go get
love
some
it.
swag.
I love it. I love it. Tune into the next Crystal live sale. No, but and get your swag. So have your swag on while you watch the live sale. There you go. Like combining both worlds. But I feel like, so I literally just broke down because I said I don't know how to do this. I don't know how to do this math. And literally this woman that I've been working with, a different woman who, is one of my vendors, said that's because nobody's taught you. Nobody's actually taken the time to teach you how to do this. And that was what was happening. And like I'm not trying to shame my ex-husband in any way. We actually have a great relationship and we're friends. But yeah, I was never taught that because what I was taught is
Speak
you're
of love.
not good at math. You're not good at like just go and do the thing that you're good at, which was great. And I thrived there. But I realized I'm like, yeah, I'm beating myself up and automatically going into the situation thinking I don't know how to do something when really maybe it's a question of have I been taught how to do this?
Mhm. And mine is honestly too lazy. Being honest, I know how to do it. I just don't
Yeah,
want to do it
I don't want to do it.
because, well, I won't say lazy. It's honestly I don't want to be responsible for those things. And the thing I'm referring to, it's like the
So
financials.
is the math
It's a
for
math,
me,
and it's because I don't want to be responsible if I mess up on someone's paycheck. I don't want to be responsible.
especially
The
no
one thing I
way.
will say I would do on time is send out an invoice. I will do that. In my life, I'm the type of person I will be drunk as a skunk, hungover, but I'm gonna remember to send your invoice, okay? but but the day to day, those other pieces is just I don't want to let anyone down or make a mistake that would fall back on like, oops, Dwight made a mistake. Uh-oh. So that's what it was. It wasn't even just being lazy. And I'm being forced in so many ways and I'm embracing it. Like today, we were late going on because I had to shoot over a fierce email to someone
Mm.
who's trying to get out of paying a fee. And it's like, no, that's not cool. I understand your concern, but as a small business in America during an election year, shit is tough right now. It's very difficult. And
Mhm.
I'm sorry. Like, I would love to work with you. We'll find other ways that we can support you. Maybe throw a free service in here or there, but you got to pay your bills.
This
Like,
is a
I have to pay my
non-negotiable,
bill. Yeah.
right? It's a non-negotiable for you, and I think that that's important.
T-Mobile's not giving me a discount on my phone bill just because I asked for it. No, like you have to pay your bills. And I think being a hustler, one of the things I will say is speaking up for yourself because no one's going to sell your brand the way you're going to sell it. And remember that.
Yes, and you know what's really interesting too, even on this podcast, but like me, like being Just Be Inspired, I am my own brand.
You are.
So it's like when I sell crystals, it's different because it's like, yes, it is a part of me, but it's still a product. But when you also are an entrepreneur that's selling yourself, that's where I love what you're saying is because it's really hard. And I think a lot of hustlers behind the scenes, they struggle with like, am I putting myself out there too much? Am I, like these are all things that I think are so important and so relative, but also like that you can struggle with, right? Like it's like,
Yeah.
oh, put yourself out there
Yeah.
because nobody else is going to advocate for you,
No offense, guys. Don't be Vivian.
right?
Yeah. He
That's like
screwed her over. She should have gotten close to $20,000 and she walked away with 2,100. Are you serious? Tell him the story. I'd be her friend. Tell him the story how you got ripped off that time, Viv. Tell him the story. Tell them the story. The guy was supposed to give you $16,800. My friend walked away with $2,100, and she was with him for 24 hours a day, 7 days a week.
helping him get over his phobia of heights and taking off his
Yes!
shoes in the grass.
Dealing with his attitude.
Dealing with his friend that
Trying to
totally
accuse
tried to
her of
assault
doing
her.
drugs when she was
Yes.
flossing, getting the seeds from the strawberries out of her teeth. Had to go outside on a hot summer day to see horses run around.
Pretend to engage in really boring dinner conversations. Like,
Yes.
who wants to be there for that?
Exactly. Right.
Right.
He ripped her off. Don't be a Vivian. Entrepreneurs, today's lesson is don't be a Vivian. Actually, justice for Vivian. Justice for Vivian. You will, next client that tries to get over and be like, you will not Vivian me. This is not Pretty Woman.
You know what's going to be so amazing is that they're not going to even be offended by that because they're going to be like, what are you talking about?
Who's
Because
Vivian?
who's
Go watch Pretty Woman. Go watch Pretty Woman and you do the math. You do the math, dang it.
So really, we really thought that this was like a story about like it perhaps empowering like sex work when really it's just a story about how it's already been like undervalued
Yes.
really like and shown in cinematic history.
Yes,
Yeah.
how people will get over on you in every industry. All of them. If you let them.
I can't. I can't. I don't even know. I think we just like, yeah, that's my thought. That's the thought right there.
Is that our final thought? Don't be a Vivian.
Don't be a
Justice
Vivian.
or justice for Vivian.
I think it should be don't like justice for Vivian. Don't be a Vivian. You know, like it's like
The front, justice for Vivian. The back, don't be a Vivian. Vivian get done really dirty though. Remember Vivian in Cruel Intentions? Selma Blair's character.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Why do they do Vivian so bad?
I don't know.
Do me a favor, everyone. If there's a Vivian in your life, go give him a hug today. Tell him, Vivian, you're special. Okay? If anyone out there knows a Vivian, I actually don't know a Vivian. I don't think I know a Vivian.
I knew one that works
what
at
happened
like
to her?
well, you know what? They owned their self-worth and they moved on.
Good.
To a company. They were working at, you know, I don't know if we're allowed to say it, but they were working at
We won't say
yeah.
that.
Yeah, they were working at a store that we know of, and then like they were not being valued and appreciated. And you know what? They were there for like 15 or 20 years. And then they were like,
Vivian's
yeah,
done dirty.
And then they moved on because somebody saw their value, and it took them a long time, but they were like, you know what? I'm going.
Guys, and this is serious. This is a PSA. If there's a Vivian out there and you feel like you're not being supported, the world is taking advantage of you, you do this. Tell them the story. Tell them the story and tell them that Jess and Dwight has your back and you're not standing for any more BS, period. You hear me?
I am going to manifest that we have a Vivian that comes on our show and tells them the story.
I love it.
Story.
All
yeah,
right,
so great.
That is today's show. We love you so much for listening.
Love you all.
We will be back next week. And
yes.
Remember, Vivian, you can do better, girl.